Hey everyone, welcome to podcast 597. Let's get right to the question of the day. It comes to us from Edmonton. Jessica says, remix culture is fundamentally at odds with older media institutions and practices. Investigate a case study which illuminates these tensions. It's a good challenge. Here we go. Okay, let's start by getting some definitions on the table. By fundamentally at odds, we're thinking of something that at bottom is incompatible, like monarchy and democracy, for instance. By remix culture, we'll follow Wikipedia's definition. It describes a society which allows and encourages derivative works. Remix is defined as combining or editing existing materials to produce a new product. This is the Cookie Monster, and he plays a starring role in our case study. Back in 1971, he first shared his signature song, C is for Cookie. You know how it goes.
C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. Oh, cookie, cookie, cookie starts with C. Hey, you know what? Around cookie.
And this is Stephen Duckett. Bath educated, he came to Alberta to head up Alberta Health Services, the government agency overseeing all aspects of healthcare in this province. And this is Laura Tupper. She works as a reporter for CTV News Edmonton. On November 19th, 2010, she was holding the microphone when she asked Duckett if he would take a few minutes to answer some questions. Duckett refused, infamously, saying that he was eating a cookie. In a moment of convergence culture, Laura's newsroom decided to post her entire 2 minutes and 13 seconds of raw Duckett interview to YouTube, instead of the usual practice of simply editing it into a package. Lawrence Lessig says remix culture boils down to the right to quote already existing media in your own works. And that's what remix artists did with the Duckett YouTube video. Instead of passively watching the work of the conventional media, what Duckett video remix communicators did was dive into their screen, creating Cookie Monster mashups that drew hundreds of thousands of views. The Alberta Premier told the legislature, quote, I think everyone in Alberta watched and saw the offensive comments. I'll just leave it at that, unquote. But just as the remixers weren't content to simply watch and see, neither was the Premier. Duckett was fired 5 days after his comments hit YouTube. Now it might seem that the pre-YouTube practices of the conventional media are at odds with those of the remixers. After all, the conventional stations ask you to sit and watch and consider their output. Remix culture has you take that output as raw material for your own product. But there is a different perspective that is available. One that asks us to take this apparently fundamental opposition between older media practice and remix culture and see them not as discrete stories, but part of the same bigger story. And the harmony that lets us cross that seeming divide is provided by the bridge of transliteracy. In their 2007 paper introducing the concept, the authors of Transliteracy Crossing Divides provide a lot to think about. Some of it, for me, is still looking through a glass darkly. But when they define transliteracy as the ability to read, write, and interact across a range of platforms, tools, and media, and moreover do this across culture and time, and when they say with an echo of St. Augustine that the experience of transliteracy is our inability to rest in it, then we have a vantage point from which we may see as united the older and the newer media practices. When the Cookie Monster first sang C is for Cookie, those vibrations didn't stop. And they haven't stopped. Along with everything else that is rescued from the grave by recording technologies, they reverberate in our imaginations, our society, and our media sphere. And that media sphere, maintained by the transliterates among us, is real enough for Stephen Duckett to, knowingly or not, have walked into as surely as he was walking down 107th Street. From the home of the 597 podcast, hey, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.